yesterday, right, Jack? Yep. All right. So yesterday we were saying if the alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. If the corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. If the angles inside the C, same side interior angles, are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. So now this is saying, or sorry, also if the alternate exterior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. This is saying if the lines are parallel, then all those different types of angles are congruent or supplementary based on what we had already learned. So it's really essentially the same thing we've been doing. So if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then AIA angles are congruent. And who remembers what is the AIA angles? What letter are we looking for? A Z, you got it. All right, if the two lines are parallel, then the AEA angles are congruent. Is there a trick for the AEA angles? No, those are just on the outside of the two parallel lines on different sides of the transversal. Right. If the lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. What letter goes with corresponding angles? Good. If the lines are parallel, then the same side interior are not congruent. The same side interior have to be what? Sup. So remember, lots of S's, same side sup, right? SS, there's an I in there, but then another S. So same side interior sup. And what letter goes with the SSI? That boxy C. So we're just going to get right into this. So here they're telling us that line R is parallel to line S. Because line R is parallel to line S, all those different theorems on the angles that we just talked about hold true. So they're saying if angle 2 is 125, so that's right here, I'm going to label it. Find the measure of angle 8. So now what I need to do is I need to find a relationship between angle 2 and angle 8. And remember, I'll highlight in green the two parallel lines. So R is parallel and S is parallel. Does anybody know what kinds of angles 2 and 8 are? Jonah? Good, alternate exterior angles. And if the lines are parallel, the alternate exterior angles are what? Congruent. So that means angle 8 is also 125 degrees. All right, next one. I'm going to erase angle 2 and angle 8. I'm still going to leave R and S highlighted though. So now they're saying if angle 1 is 40 degrees, so this is angle 1, 40 degrees, find the measure of angle 5. So now what I need to do is I need to find a relationship between angle 1 and angle 5. So I'm going to trace angle 1, I'm going to trace angle 5, and then I'm going to connect them through a common line. What letter have I made now? An F. What do we know about the angles in the F? They have to be? They are corresponding, and are they supplementary or are they congruent? Congruent. So that means angle 5 is also 40 degrees. All right, angle 7. All right, now I'm just going to pick people to help me out here. So angle 7 is 35 degrees, so I'm going to label that. And we want to find angle 4. So I'm going to trace angle 7. And I'm going to trace angle 4. Try to connect them. Oh, this is a little bit tricky, guys. Is there a relationship between angle 7 and angle 4? They're not an F, they're not a C, they're not a Z, they're nothing, right? But that doesn't mean I can't find angle 4. Let's talk about why. Right now, angle 7 is 35 arms, 7 vertical angles, the kissing birds. So angle 7 there is 35 degrees. Wouldn't angle 5 also have to be 35 degrees? So now we have to sort of extend our knowledge and play around with things a little bit. So this is 35 degrees. And now I'm not going to look at angle 4 and angle 7 anymore. Now I'm going to look at angle 4 and angle 5. And angle 4 and angle 5 make what kinds of angle? The supplements, right? The C. SSI. Excellent. We're going to do 180 minus 35 for angle 4. So we're going to say 180 minus 35. So this bar becomes 10. This becomes 7. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. Bring down that 1. So this is 145 degrees. So do you see how even though they didn't link the angles completely, I was still able to find the angle? No, every problem is different. We erase, we start fresh again. So we're not going to link it to the previous problem. All right, so erase this, starting fresh. So now it says angle 3 is 35 degrees. Oh, sorry, no, angle 3 is 112 degrees. I looked wrong. And we want to find angle 6. So I'm going to highlight angle 3. I'm going to highlight angle 6. Stella, tell me, is this a C or an F? 3 and 6. C. It's a C, perfect. And in the C, do we want the angles congruent or supplements? Supplements. So to find angle 6, I'm going to do 180 minus 112. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 1 is 6. So that becomes 68 degrees. So erase our highlighting again. Now we start fresh. Ooh, again, this is very sneaky. They're saying here, angle 2 plus angle 6 equals 100. Let's take a minute and look what kinds of angles we have for angle 2 and 6. So here's 2, I'm highlighting it. Here's 6, I'm highlighting it, and then I'm connecting them. So if we're looking at 2 and 6, what letter is that? An F. And the angles, the corresponding angles, are they congruent or are they supplementary? They're congruent. So if angle 2 plus angle 6 is 100 degrees, but they have to be congruent, each angle has to be how big? Jay? 50. You got it. So 2 is 50 and 6 is 50. We had to figure that out to solve this problem. Then it says, well, find the measure of angle 1. Well, what is the relationship between 2 and 1? They're supplementary because they make that straight angle. So that means angle 1 has to be 180 minus 50. Which is 130 degrees. All right, lastly, number 6. It says if R is perpendicular to T. Here's line R, guys. Here's line T. What happens when two lines are perpendicular? What do they make? Right angles. So if R is perpendicular to T, that means all 4 of these are right angles. Anybody confused with how I knew that? Okay. So now it says find angle 7. Well, there's a million ways to find angle 7. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use angle 3 and angle 7 and make that F. Do you guys see that? And the angles in the F are congruent, which means angle 7 is also 90 degrees. Oh, sorry, we're not finished. We're still on this diagram. So R is parallel to S still. So now we're bringing in the pre-algebra stuff. So it says if the measure of angle 2 is 3x plus 10, so 2 is 3x plus 10, and the measure of angle 8 is x plus 40, find the measure of angle 3. Well, before I can find the measure of angle 3, do you all agree we're going to have to solve for x? So now I'm going to look at the two x expressions that they gave me, the 3x plus 10, which is angle 2, and the x plus 40, which is angle 8. What kinds of angles are 2 and 8? Not Stella. Somebody else. What kinds of angles are 2 and 8? Good. AEA. And go back. AEA angles, are they congruent or sub? Congruent. So now to solve for x, I'm going to set them equal to each other. I'm going to say 3x plus 10 is equal to x plus 40. We subtract x on both sides. So now I have 2x plus 10 is equal to 40. Bring it up here. And now I subtract 10 on both sides. So 2x is equal to 30. Divide by 2, and we get x is equal to 15. That is not my answer to this problem. That was just step 1 in solving this problem. Let everybody catch up. Okay, so now I know that x is 10. They're asking us ultimately find angle 3. Well, what is the relationship between 2 and 3? They're supplementary angles. They make that straight angle. So since I know x is 15, can I plug in 15 for x and find angle 2? So this is going to be, angle 2 is going to be 3 times 15 plus 10, which is 25 plus 10, that is 35. So if angle 2 is 35 degrees, how will I now find angle 3? How will I now find angle 3? Well, didn't we just say 2 and 3 were supplementary angles? They make that straight angle. So now angle 3 is going to be 180 minus 35. So we borrow from the 8. 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. Oh, it's not. It's 45. Sorry, guys. How'd I mess that up? Which means this is 55, which means this is minus 55. So this is 125. Does that sound better? Sorry. All right, so angle 3 is 125 degrees. Oops, it says measure, so we don't need the degrees on all of these. All right, let's erase again. This next one says angle 4 is 4x plus 30 and angle 5 is 2x plus 30. So we're going to go to our diagram and mark it. So angle 2, was it 2? No, angle 4 is 4x plus 30. And angle 5 is 2x plus 30. And we want to find angle 2. Well, do we agree that angle 4 and angle 2 are the kissing birds, they're vertical angles? So if I'm able to find angle 4, then I know angle 2 is the same as angle 4. But now I have to find angle 4. I have to solve for x. So I'm going to use angles 4 and 5 to solve for x. So looking at this, I see a C. And 4 and 5 are in that C. What do we know about the angles in the C? Are they equal to each other or do they add up to 180? The angles in the C, do they equal each other or do they add up to 180? They add up to 180. So number 8, we're going to add them to 180. So 4x plus 30 plus 2x plus 30 equals 180. We're going to combine our like terms. So we have 6x plus 60 equals 180. Subtract the 60. 6x equals 120. Divide by 6. X will equal 20. Which angle is angle 4 equal to? I'm sorry, which angle is angle 2 equal to? Angle 4. So now, guess what? I'm going to plug into angle 4. So angle 4 is going to be 4 times 20 plus 30. So we're 80 plus 30, which is 110. So the measure of angle 2 is 110, the same as angle 4. Yeah, even though it's the same diagram, we're restarting every problem. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we want to find X, Y, and Z. And the only number I have is the 100. So obviously, I need to use the 100, right? But now we have two different pairs of parallel lines. The little arrowheads going in the same direction represent parallel lines. So this first line and this second line, see how they both have just one arrowhead? They're parallel. But see how the horizontal lines each have two arrowheads? That means those two are parallel. So it's not that all 4 of them are parallel, just the one arrowheads are parallel and the 2 arrowheads are parallel. So I'm going to start with the one arrowheads first. And using the one arrowhead lines, I'm tracing the 100. And then do you guys want to look for, find Y or Z first? Which one's catching your eye more? I'd probably go with Y. And what have we made here? An F. And the angles in the F are congruent, which means angle Y has to be 100 degrees. And now I'm going to ask you, what's the relationship between Y and Z? They're supplementary. So angle Z has to be 80 degrees. Okay, now I need to find X. So I'm going to erase those highlighted lines and I'll highlight the other lines that are closer to X. So I have this line. So I'm trying to make a relationship between X and 100. Is there a relationship between X and 100? I don't think so. So that doesn't mean we can't solve for X. That means we have to manipulate things. Now, just a wild thought right now. Do you guys see the Z here? So we know the angles in the Z are equal, right? AIA. So I know this is 100. And what's the relationship between 100 and X? They are supplements, which means X has to be 80. All right, next one. So there's two sets of parallel lines. There's the double arrowhead parallel lines and there's the single arrowhead parallel lines. Which one do you guys want to work with first? Double arrowheads or single arrowheads? Doesn't matter. Double? Yeah? Single? I don't care. Girl? Double? Okay. Here's double. Here's double. Does the only numbers we have are the 30 and the 100. Does anybody see anything we can do here or that we can make? Stella? Yeah. And don't we have a Z there? So what does that mean for angle A? It is, nope, 30, right? Okay, let's erase that. Anybody see anything else we can do? So we found A is 30. Jay? You got it. We can make another Z this way using the single arrowhead lines. So that means B is 100. And actually for D and C, we can't use parallel lines because there's no transversal cutting to either of them to work with either of them. Stella? Yeah, tell me what to do. Excellent. Beautifully, beautifully said. Do you guys see that this is a triangle right here? And all the angles in a triangle have to add up to what number? 180. So I have 100 and a 30. So that's 130. So I'm going to say 180 minus 130, which is 50 degrees. Yes, Jay. Oh, okay. 50 degrees. Is D also 50 degrees? Yeah. My goodness, there's so much. I feel tired of this. Do you feel tired of this? Maybe we'll just stop here and then do the rest of this next class. Yeah, just like tired of it.